We are now joined by our Dollar General 300 race winner, Joey Logano, driver of the number 20 GameStop Call of Duty Toyota, his winning crew chief, Adam Stevens, and his team owner, J.D. Gibbs. Joey, 8th win this season in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Talk about winning your first race at Charlotte.
Yeah, wow, that's loud. I would never think, in the beginning of the year that we'd win 8 of these things. Running a part-time schedule for sure, and Adam Stevens and all the guys back at the shop are doing we were able to keep up with them tonight and be able to beat them at the end, and even Brad was really faster. So we had to work for it. We weren't the winning car in the beginning of the race. And then we made the right adjustment. I think by the 3rd stop, it was kind of right where it needed to be. I found a line that works for my car and the right strategy. And it always gets crazy there and starts to get to fuel mileage there at the end. And who's going to try to make it? And if there's a caution comes out, and what's going to happen? So a lot of crazy things going on. But cool to get GameStop and Toyota in victory lane again. With Call of Duty on the car, I think it was one of the coolest cars I've ever driven, being flat black. So that thing looked mean in victory lane.
Adam, talk a little bit about your last pit stop there and how that helped you guys get into victory lane again.
Yeah, the last stop, the last caution, let me go back here, came out just a few laps short of everybody's final pit window, and it put us all in a spot where you weren't going to be able to stretch it. Nobody was going to be able to stretch it, which I'd say a couple more laps, if the caution would have gone a couple more laps before it came out there, the 22, he gets incredible mileage, and he probably would have been able to stretch his fuel, and we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. But it came out when it did, and they opened pit road, and everybody was short. You never know how much short the rest of them are. I think we were about the same on mileage as most of the field. So that just kind of set you up where you were somewhere between 5 and 10 short, and nobody was going to make it. And then it's just a guessing game of who's going to come put 2 and try to take advantage of the tires, and who's going to get a splash of fuel and try to minimize their time on pit road. And we kind of saw what others did and had a bit of a strategy worked out for these type of situations before we get here, and worked out.
All right, JD, another dominating performance by this team, and then also this win.
Leadership and Joey and the way they communicate, it's kind of one of those things like end of the race, I'm like, he goes 2 tires, I'm like, no, then it's like, yeah, good call. It's just always, you just never know.
I thought the same thing. I was like, really?
He asked
and I was like, okay, go with it, man.
Are you sure? I'm sure. And so it worked out. So I think it's just a good trust. And I think, for all of our partners, for GameStop being a part of that, and then Toyota, and it's just a neat fit. And I think our guys do a good job. And it's not easy. What they do is not easy, even though they sometimes make it look easy. It's hard work, and they do a great job.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions. Okay, let's start with Al.
Yeah, Joey, Al Pierce from Auto Week. You started the season knowing you couldn't win the nationwide championship. You knew that. You got 8 wins, which is twice as many as the point leader. Would you trade those wins for maybe being 3rd or 4th in points now? Or do you like the situation like it is, knowing you can't win it all, lets you run a little bit different when points are no issue?
I wouldn't trade a win for anything, no matter what. And, yeah, it'd be cool if we got to run for points like we used to. But I understand why NASCAR made that decision, and I think it's brought the championship really close for those guys. I think you look at the 6 and the 2 and the 3 out there. It's one heck of a championship run. But I am still able to go out there and when I run the 18 car and try to win the Owners' Championship, which I believe is still leading after this race. So it's cool to be involved with that for sure. I understand why they do it, and I wouldn't trade a win to be able to run for points. It's all about wins to me.
All right, we'll continue upstairs. Any questions upstairs?
Reed Spencer with the NASCAR Wire Service. Joey, you're at the end of the season, you're going to make a career move. Have you talked to Penske at all, as prolific as you become in the Nationwide Series, about running nationwide races with them when you move over there?
We've had some conversation about it. Obviously, I'd like to run as many as I can, especially at the way my season's going right now. I want to run them all. So it's a lot of fun winning races. So I think their nationwide program over there is very strong too, and we'll have some serious competition between my old car and a new car. So you've seen Brad was up there a lot tonight too. So all that depends on sponsorship. Whatever they can raise, I'll run them.
Jim Utter from the Charlotte Observer. For Joey and also for JD, obviously Kyle racked up a lot of his, most of his nationwide wins with this program. You've had an astounding 8 of 18 wins this season. Could you both just talk about how the nationwide program at JGR has been able to maintain such a level of success over the last few years?
Great people. I think that's the best thing. I mean, they got a lot of the guys that I think the information from the Cup side to the nationwide side, they do a good job with that. I think Adam's brought a lot of that over here from the Cup side, being a Cup engineer over there for a long time. I think that's a big deal. I think they were able to make our cars really good over the offseason and improve them a lot. I think Adam and I's relationship is probably one of the biggest parts of us running good right now. I think, we're definitely got each other's back and we know what each other's thinking. And he knows what I need to make a car go fast. And we have a heck of a notebook from the previous year. And we're going through it and we're sticking to our plan every week in practice. And it's coming through when the race starts. So it's all about sticking with the game plan when we come to the race. Adam is I think he over prepares all the time, so that's a good thing for me. So I think that's where we're really strong.
I just, briefly, to me, the value to us of the nationwide team, we've done this for a long time now. When we started, we figured, hey, this would be kind of easy. It's not easy, but for us, what it is, it's a great training ground for our drivers, for our crew chiefs, for our engineers, for our pit crew, for our mechanics. And so when they kind of go through that process, we have about probably 70 to 80 guys that have come from the nationwide program to the Cup shop. And so when they do that, when they make that transition, they're still interested. They follow. They tell them, hey, here's what you screwed up. Here's what you did well. And so they're really a part of that. So I think it's a big value for Joe Gibbs Racing.
All right, any additional questions upstairs?
Yes.
Okay.
Monty Dutton, Gaston is it. Joey, is there any reason besides a jinx or bad luck that you had never won a nationwide race at this track? I mean, was there anything difficult, set up, whatever, or is it just, for whatever reason, it just never worked out?
I really like this racetrack. It's one of my favorite racetracks. And in the nationwide cars, for some reason, I've never been fast enough to win a race here. I've had top 5 cars, and I've had cars that can finish second, but I've never had a car that can win. I just think it's somewhat myself kind of figuring out what I need and what makes a race car go fast here, and what's going to happen day to night, and kind of getting my own little notebook and knowing what I'm going to do when the track changes and running lines and all that. So it's for some reason, I love this place. I had to figure it out with this car, and I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a tough one, and it was a lot of fun to get a win at a racetrack that it's been a tough one for you.
All right, we'll come downstairs to Stan.
Stan Creekmore with RPMTonight.com. Joey, you first. How important would it be to you, and did you learn anything today that makes you think tomorrow might be easier for you to walk, to be in victory lane at the end of the night?
Yeah, I think when you run these nationwide races, you always find something, or at least reassure yourself on kind of the direction you're going, or the wrong direction that you're going in practice. So I feel like we were going the right direction in Cup practice before we started this race, and everything kind of went as kind of expected over here. The way the track changed and moving around and doing things, and I was able to find a couple little things I can't tell you because then I have to kill you. So I don't want to do that for your sake. And so I think it's definitely it's a help to run these things. Plus, it's a whole heap of fun.
And if I could follow that up with JD. JD, that's 2 trophies today. What would it mean to you to pick up the 3rd one tomorrow?
It's a big deal, and I was sharing with some guys earlier. We've been doing this 21 years, and I used to make fun of my dad for getting nervous and stressed out, and now I'm right where he is. Like, it's hard to enjoy the races because you've seen everything happen in a race, but our guys, we just have great faith, and we just have a neat team of guys, nationwide and Cup, and they just they work well together, and they've been through they've learned a lot of life lessons along the way. So it's kind of fun to kind of, end of the day, look back and say, you guys accomplished it. So part of the joy is the journey, and then obviously capping it off with those wins is a big deal too.
All right, any additional questions? Okay.